Hello and welcome to the Nuclear Reactor, and today we'll be reacting to a part 4 of What If Gine Went to Earth with Goku. This is a really cool series and I'm loving it a lot. If you like my reactions, then like and subscribe, and also follow me on Twitter, please, if you want to know when I'm updating my videos, because I always post before I put the videos up to go up on YouTube, so let me know what y'all want me to react to, and subscribe, and add me on Twitter. My Twitter account is in the description below. And also like and subscribe to Masako if you like his videos. Thank y'all.
The family of Bardock, or at least two of them, are ready to take on Universe 7 Super Saiyan Elite. Hey guys, Masako X here. Now that July is almost coming to an end, I thought we'd actually touch upon a what if that we've not really explored for a while, certainly not during the summer. It's a tale that I didn't expect to get any kind of coverage, but lo and behold, it turns out to be one of my favourites. One of my favourites and one of your favourites as well. That is, of course, the tale of what if Gine went with Goku to Earth. Yes, the scenario where Gine accidentally and inadvertently ended up in the same pod that Goku took to get to Earth and escape planet Vegeta's destruction. With the overall presence of Gine, the peril in the original Dragon Ball was far less apparent. But when the time came where she had no choice but to defend her new home, she was able to whomp King Piccolo relatively easy and claim the mantle of the world's strongest for quite a while, I might add. It was here that she realized that, really, if she wants to keep her home safe, she has to step up and be a protector of Earth, as well as her son. And she actually kind of embraced it. We even got to see her reunite with her eldest son, Raditz. He actually chose to spare his younger brother and mother and decided to go off the grid, away from the same.
You say that like he had a choice. They were each as strong as him, so he couldn't defeat them. Although Gine probably would have just given up and not fought him anyway, given up. So I guess
That have really made his life hell for decades. He is currently trying to become his own person deep in the galaxy. I mean, granted, he tried to do that by faking his own death, rather poorly, because Vegeta and Nappa was certainly not convinced. They are still heading to Earth, despite Raditz going, "Oh no, I'm dying! I don't think Earth's worth going to!" essentially. Those two Saiyans were very keen to meet Gine, a female Saiyan, as well as the whole possibility of Gohan, a Saiyan hybrid. That's never really happened before. And where we last left off in part 3, Kakarot and Gine had gone their separate ways to do training in different places. Kakarot went to the other world to train with King Kai, whereas Gine chose to stay on Earth and train up the rest of the Z-Fighters. When it comes to Kakarot's training in the other world, in comparison to the original story and scenario, it's pretty much the same for a long period, all the way up until he actually has to come back to Earth to fight the Saiyans. The only difference here is that the Dragon Balls don't have to be used for Kakarot. Why? Because he's still alive. What are the Dragon Balls going to be used for then? Well, that's a good question. Well, I think it might be time for Kami to step up to the plate. And why exactly is that, Masako, I hear you say? Well, I alluded to this in the last part, that Kami felt really bad and awful that he wasn't able to help train Gine and Kakarot. He'd taken a shining to them and really enjoyed training with them for years and years and years, and now he'd reached the point where they'd become way stronger than he is, and he couldn't help. So maybe this is the time to change that. He also felt really bad by having to bother the likes of King Yemmer and King Kai. He should have been able to do all of this by himself. Maybe if he was a bit younger and a bit more vibrant in his fighting style, he might be able to be of some use against the same
I like where he's going with this. That's cool.
threat that is incoming. No one's using the Dragon Balls at this point, so why doesn't he do just that? We have talked about this in one of our other what ifs, the What If Nappa Turned Good series, where Kami actually becomes a younger version of himself and begins to train so he can actually keep up with the rest of the Z-Fighters and become a member of the Z-Fighters himself. So I thought it might be—
Damn it, that was a spoiler. I had planned on doing that one in the future, but damn it.
interesting to add that chestnut to this cornucopia of a story. As Gine is training with the others and getting quite distracted and really into it, no one's going to be bothering to check what Kami is up to, so he can freely go around the world collecting the Dragon Balls with Mr. Popo. But now he actually has this younger body. What does he do with it? How does he train? Does he go to the others and train with them? No. the Room of Spirit and Time. Yes, I know it was a retcon slash MacGuffin that was introduced or reintroduced in the Cell Saga, but it does have a place in the lore of the Lookout. In that arc, Goku explained that during his time with Kami training, he actually went in the Room of Spirit and Time, but he couldn't handle more than a month inside because he kind of went stir crazy and couldn't cope. The question is though, would he share this information with the others? Hard to say. He'll figure it out once he's actually been inside it for a year. Meanwhile, we've got to talk about Gohan. Since his place in the story is a lot more vague than the original story, given the fact that we have not seen his rage boost because Raditz didn't kidnap him or anything, it's because of Gine that he still remains relevant to the story as a whole. Gine has come to recognize that Gohan does have potential after observing it in her own child. And Gine is a lot more perceptive than Kakarot. She would understand that Chi-Chi wouldn't want her son to be fighting with them. She offers a compromise to her. Let her train Gohan, and at the same time, she should train alongside them. Why would she want to train again? Those days of her were done. She got the guy, why does she need to keep on trying? If Chi-Chi chose to train with them, she could oversee Gohan's development, know what to do, know what not to do, and be a part of it, have things on her terms, and understand what's going on instead of being left in the dark. Despite appreciating Gine's offer, she remains...
Yeah, because all throughout the series, I think the main reason she didn't like Gohan going off and training and everything was because she was left in the dark about it. Hell, I wouldn't like that, being left in the dark like that. So, if she was able to participate in it and help learn how to teach him and everything, then she might be more forthcoming with it.
Remains unsure of it because she's fallen way behind the others. How on earth could she catch up in such a short space of time? That point though is left rather moot when it comes to Gine because she's had to deal with that conundrum pretty much for all her life. By being comparatively weak to pretty much every single Saiyan around her, she became a bit of a pariah, good for nothing except cooking for when the men and women came back from the battlefield. That's all she could do in the eyes of the other Saiyans, and that was totally unfair. She had no chance to show her full potential, save for a brief spell with Bardock. Only Bardock could actually see any kind of potential in her, and now he's gone. But back then, she was okay with it. She wasn't really into fighting, but now that she's matured and embraced the fighting way, she could really see that her life was kind of sad. When the world was threatened by King Piccolo and Gine realized that she could actually do something about it, her life absolutely changed for the better. There is no shame in wanting to live a simple life free of fighting and danger. But if danger does actually decide to break down your door, you gotta step up. But you gotta also step up as a family and a team. And that's what Gine wants Chi-Chi to do. After getting Chi-Chi to agree to do this, they begin the training, the three of them. The family is starting to get stronger. But what's this? Another entity arrives at the training fields to help them. Someone they don't quite recognize but seems somewhat familiar. It's Kami, but a younger Kami. The Guardian does indeed confirm that it is him, and that he used the Dragon Balls to make himself younger, and that he's been training to be able to catch up to them and help them in the cause. But when it comes to the Room of Spirit and Time and whether he chooses to divulge that information, he chooses not to. He had forgotten how hard the Room of Spirit and Time was, how hard he made it for anyone who chose to enter it. They do not need people to have nervous breakdowns right before two murderous Saiyans are coming to destroy the planet. He needs everybody at maximum mental capacity. Say if Yamcha and Ten Shinhan went into the Room of Spirit and Time and they weren't prepared, they could easily be broken. Mortals, they can't really get any meaningful stuff out of it just yet. Even after regaining his youth and training with the Z-Fighters for the better part of a year, Kami still realizes that no matter what they're trying to do, the fight against the Saiyans is going to be extremely tough. They might not be able to do it. They're definitely going to need Kakarot for him to return as soon as possible. They're making good progress with Gine being there, but they still have to remember that Nappa is 3 or 4 times stronger than Piccolo was, who was the strongest at the time. Gine is probably around 2,000 or something, so she's about half the power of Nappa. They got to either fight together or not fight at all and just, die. And when the time comes and the Saiyans do arrive, they have still got to tackle each individual Cyberman on their own. Unfortunately, Ten Shinhan and Chaozu still bite the dust, but Yamcha is able to survive. Why is that exactly? Because Gine has the advantage of knowing what Cybermen are. She would be able to shout, "Yamcha, duck!" and the Cybermen would just miss Yamcha. He is saved! Our savior gets to live for another day. However, all this training isn't enough.
So wait, Yamcha didn't get Yamcha'd?
To save Kami. he still
Sorry,
has to
bad
make
joke.
some kind of sacrifice. When Nappa aims a mouth beam directly at Gohan, Chi-Chi instinctively gets in the way to defend it. But then at the same time, Kami then jumps in front of the pair of them and takes the full force of the hit. Kami felt absolutely dejected that despite all of his plans, all of his training, and now regaining his youth, it's still not enough to help protect them from the Saiyans. The only thing he can do now is to at least try and protect the mortals and buy enough time for Kakarot to return and defend the Earth. This was just an instinctive thing. He had no other option. Everybody is horrified when the Namekian lands on the ground, especially Gine. She spent a long time training with the Namekian Guardian, and this is going to be hitting very hard for her. Kami's life essence wisps away into the afterlife, and everyone is left stunned. And that comes as a massive loss as well, because there's no more Dragon Balls. No Kami, no balls. The balls are inert. But that's not exactly the most important issue right now. They've got to deal with an extremely angry Nappa who's coming at them with full force. But thankfully, Kakarot arrives just in time to be able to save everybody, with also a boosted power level after the old fabled one. It's over 11,000 this time. He makes light work of Nappa, and then Vegeta blasts away his minion as per usual. And when Kakarot finds out about Kami biting the dust all at the hands of Nappa, he is extremely furious, as Gine might have expected, and goes on the rampage, beginning his fight with Vegeta much quicker than usual. Gine gets up to join forces alongside her son, and they both face off against the prince. Gine isn't scared anymore. She thought she might be facing the prince, but she's not. What is Vegeta a prince of, really? All of his subjects are gone now. He wiped away his closest ally, Nappa. He's not there anymore. Who's going to defend him? This gives Gine the strength to fight alongside her son and her home. The prince initially wants to bargain with Gine and offers for her to be his Saiyan queen, just talking it all up, trying to be like, "Join me, and you can be my partner and queen as we start a new Saiyan colony. They could conquer worlds in the name of Lord Frieza, what do you say?" But Gine is absolutely not interested. I mean, Vegeta kind of saw right through it immediately. He just goes, "Oh well, worth a shot." The truth is, he doesn't care about restarting the Saiyan race anymore. He's kind of done with that. Yeah, it was all just a stunt to try and get Gine to get less secure with herself. And besides, he wouldn't be able to quite shake off the idea that he's getting into bed with a low-class Saiyan. A low-class Saiyan cook of all people. And he says this in front of Gine. And ooh, you shouldn't have done that, Vegeta. You pressed the Gine button. Gine has had enough. Her hackles are raised, and she's ready to prove what she can do.
You pressed the Goku button. Sorry, I remember way more from DBZ Abridged than I do from DBZ now, since I've watched it so many freaking times. It's ridiculous.
But one thing has become absolutely clear to herself right now. The power gap between herself and her son has become quite immense in the time that they've been training. She can feel it. He is far stronger now. He has actually managed to serve the purpose that she wanted. He is strong enough to be able to defend the world on his own. Her time is done. But, you know, this Vegeta here, let's go out for one last ride together. Mother and son fighting as one last ride. And thanks to Kakarot's gain in power, thanks to the multiplier of the Kaioken, the 4x Kamehameha against Vegeta is actually a lot more powerful and is enough to really considerably injure Vegeta, cutting out quite a lot of the fight, or at least the second half of it. In fact, he's so injured that Vegeta isn't able to actually generate a ki blast of the moon to be able to become Uzaru. He scurries off to the pod as best as he can and vows to return and take out Kakarot. So okay, why did I cut this fight short exactly? Well, it's all down to pride. Vegeta was bested by a woman as well as a low-class Saiyan who had a power level of 2 at birth. How would he be able to live with himself? He is not done with them. He will come back and get stronger and wipe this...
Wait, power level was 2 at birth? Because I never knew what his power level was at birth. Really? Interesting.
Off the face of this planet as well as the planet with it. The two of them got very lucky that Vegeta decided to scalp her right now. But also, Gine is fully aware that he could go back to Frieza's home world and alert Frieza the fact that she's alive and that Earth is ready and ripe for the taking. She knows that her time hidden away from the tyrant is over. Kakarot, who is now much more mobile than he is in the original story, congratulates his mother for being able to put up a really good fight alongside them. This was just like another one of their great adventures. He thinks there's nothing wrong, but Gine is fully aware that, she kind of has to now step aside and let Kakarot take control. But oh dear, Kakarot does not take this well. Not at all. In fact, he actually breaks down into a pool of tears. This is not something that Kakarot wanted to hear, especially after such an immense and fantastic battle, the strongest and most intense they had yet. Kakarot has been training with his mother for as long as he can remember. He doesn't want this to end right now. It's now beginning to get interesting. Why stop? And Kakarot looked up to Gine. For all of his childhood and quite a bit of his early adulthood, she was the strongest person in his life. He was able to challenge himself against her. Kakarot asks Gine to not give up and keep on fighting, and just begging for her to not stop. Gine is kind of unsure about this, about whether she'd be able to actually keep up and actually catch up between the power gap between her and her son. But then Gohan and Chi-Chi step in and say that Gine should continue to fight with Kakarot. They should all do together. As a family, they would be stronger than ever, not divided. And this is something that not only pleases Gine, but
together, how's it divided? Together we conquer, divided we fail. I think it is. That goes really well there.
Kakarot immensely. How ironic. Gine had spent most of her life trying to get away from all this training talk, but right now, she couldn't be any happier. And I think that's where we'll leave things for now. With Kami's sacrifice, this gives the group incentive to actually travel to Namek, so that part of the story continues
Move on to the next one.
And with that in mind, the group that goes to Namek is larger as well. This allows Gine to actually complete her character arc by returning to space and taking on Lord Frieza herself, or at least trying to make some kind of impact. It's exciting times, so stay tuned for that one. And by the way, special thanks to Sophie Baker on the R&R server for coming up with some ideas that I implement into this What If part. It was a fantastic job. Thank you so much, Sophie. This all came together fantastically. So what do you guys think? Did you like this part? Do you think Kakarot will reach the power of Super Saiyan in another way? Leave a comment below and let's get this discussion going. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Until the next one, be sure to like it.
Oh, that worries me. Who has to die for him to reach Super Saiyan in the next part? You kill Gine, I'll kill you. I'm kidding. But seriously, I wonder who has to die then for him to become Super Saiyan. Well, we'll find out, and I hope y'all enjoyed that. And remember to like and subscribe, please. And let me know what y'all think, because I need feedback so I can make this better for y'all. And I really enjoy doing this for y'all, but I need more feedback. And if you haven't already, follow me on Twitter, please, so that I can keep you all updated on when I'll be uploading new videos. Till next time, thank y'all.